and I've read about the companions and the Salaf and everyone else. I know who I am. I'm the creation of Allah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I'm here today with Craig. He's basically a young brother, mashallah, from Birmingham, Handsworth, alhamdulillah, and he's an example that shows that no matter what surroundings you come from, you can still achieve things. Mashallah, Craig came from an area where, as we know, there's a lot of knife violence, gun violence, problems, but alhamdulillah, he managed to get a degree and a master's, and he's actually working on his PhD. Now Craig, you're someone who's from like a general black area. There's a lot of kids that are in school, you know what I'm saying, they're seeing people selling drugs, they're seeing people stealing things, robbing, doing fraud, and they're thinking these boys are their age and they're making money. And they're tempted to leave school because school seems long, it's going to take long before they get, you know, they have to go college and uni, before they get, you know, a good job that pays well. What would you say to these youths that are thinking about taking a shortcut? What advice would you give to them? Being someone who's from the same kind of area, who's got a degree, you know, got a master's and is working on a PhD.
I'll be totally honest and say it was very difficult. I'm not going to sit here before you and say that I was a person that stayed in education, paid attention in school, was a person that did everything that my mum and dad told me to do, and then went and then got a degree, a diploma and then a master's degree. That wasn't the situation. I was at school, I messed about at school, didn't pay attention at school. I was an individual that used to cause trouble in school, inside and outside of school. And I remember my mum crying every single parents' evening, because my mum and dad were from educational backgrounds, my family were from educational backgrounds, but I still chose to do other things. I still chose to go to school and cause trouble, make jokes, shoot pellet guns at teachers, bring fireworks into school. These are the things that I chose to do because I thought it was funny. I chose to not do my GCSEs. I'd rather sleep in the exam hall rather than pay attention and do my papers. I chose to do that. When I left school with no GCSEs and my parents were upset and, you know, I had no real option to go to different colleges to do the courses that I wanted to do, you know, I had a different struggle. So I had to select courses that were not going to benefit me educationally, but it was just the fact to keep my mum and dad happy in order to do that. So that was a struggle. But because I had my mum and dad around me, they was always pushing me into education. Wasn't really interested in education, but I did it because I just wanted my mum and dad to just leave me alone and start bothering me when I was at home. But went to college and still was faced with the challenges. You know, I was dyslexic. I struggled with maths, I struggled with English. And I felt that teachers didn't understand me, so I used to cause trouble again, fight. So after coming in and out of different colleges, you know, being amongst certain people in the community, like with most cities in a city, things like violence, things like chilling with the wrong crowds becomes appealing. But again, the good thing in which brought me back was having good support mechanisms around myself and having good mentors. And they saying to me that, yo, there's something about you that you have that can contribute to other people in your community, because I've seen it all. I don't want to sit here and say everything that I've seen, but I've seen guns, I've seen people get rushed, I've seen man get beat up, I've seen man get 35 years, 18 years, I've seen people go to mental health institutions, I've seen people in coffins. I've seen it, but I'm not going to profess and say I was that guy, because I wasn't, but I grew up around it like most kids are. Not everybody that's from the road, you have to be from the road and you have to experience all of those things. I live next door to people, 3 doors away from people that have killed people. I've come out of my house and seen people selling. I've come out of my house and seen people get robbed. So when you grow up in an inner city area, this is something that you've seen. But the good thing that I had was my dad. I'd always put that down to a dad, and he was a person that always said to me, yo, Craig, school, education is the key. Education is the key. That's something he used to drill in my head all the time. So after going through college and going in and out, it was only myself that I then decided to say, you know what, I want to now do something different. I want to pay attention in college. And then it was only at that point where I made the choice to then do something different. But the good thing that I had, again, it was all the support mechanisms around me, which for most young people, they don't have. And there's an old Jamaican saying, when you slip, you slide. So with me, when I slipped, I had people to support me. Now, if you look in the communities today, you've got your Muslim youth, and you've got youth that are non-Muslim, but they might have other religious backgrounds, but they've got a good community structure. They've got good, what is called social capital. So they've got different people that they can connect to if they're in a time of difficulty. Whereas some communities from the inner city, predominantly African, Afro-Caribbean, British, Irish children, many of them don't, not all, but many of them don't have those support mechanisms. So when they make those bad life choices in school, in college, in the community, and they go prison, they're on probation or whatever happens to them, many of them find it very difficult to get back into the community and do something better. So with me, it was hard, it was a struggle. You know, I found out I was dyslexic, as I said. I found out that, you know, when I read words, it took me 3 times as long to do an assignment than somebody else would do an assignment.
And you still went on to get a degree and complete your masters, finding out that you were dyslexic.
Discipline, that was the thing. For me, it was discipline. When I realised what my learning needs was, I made sure that the teachers that I felt understood me, mentors that I felt understood me, I made sure I stayed with them all the time.